have got another one for you. So earlier this year, this girl comes in and she orders a double Tito's and Diet Coke. And then I remembered her because that is not a very common drink order. She had come in about 6 weeks prior and she was crying because she had just found out that her boyfriend was married. I was like, oh man, that sucks. So 6 weeks prior, that happens, okay? And she gets wasted. No shame, because I probably would have done the same thing. Fast forward about 6 weeks, she comes in again. This chick starts walking around to every single guy using the same story that she just found out that her boyfriend is married. She's trying to get anybody, any of them, to go home with her. She starts like rubbing dudes' backs. Guys are coming up to me telling me that she's crazy, and I'm like, do you want me to say something to her? And they're like, no, don't say anything to her. So eventually she finds this regular that's sitting at the bar. He's pretty quiet, he keeps to himself a lot, but she finds him and he looks like he's enjoying the conversation. So a little while later, I overhear part of their conversation as I'm like walking by. She goes, you know what I want to do? I want to go, and she starts telling him everything she wants to do to him. He looks away from her, looks at me. He goes, Michelle, I'll take my check. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I look at her and I'm like, do you want to close out too? She was like, yeah, I'll close out too. I give them their tabs and she holds hers up in the air and she goes, oh no, he wants to pay it. We're going to call this regular Sean, okay? That's not his real name, by the way, but he wants to pay it. And I was like, oh, but I already ran the card. She goes, so you can fix it. You can fix it. He wants to pay. And I look at him and I'm like, is that true? Do you want to pay it? He goes, well, how much is it? And I look, it's $53. He goes, well, yeah, that's fine. So he hands me his card back. I refund the tab, and then I re-ring everything back in that she had, and then I run his card, and then they leave. I see them outside of the window, in the front window. I see them out there making out. Then she gets in his car, and they drive away. Oh, and also, I heard her ask him at least 3 times if he was married. Homegirl was making sure he wasn't married. Less than 10 minutes after they left the parking lot together, he comes speed walking into the bar, okay, right up to me. And he goes, Michelle. And I'm like, what? What happened? He goes, I just want to let you know that I did not go home with that girl. And I was like, well, clearly, because you're standing right in front of me. I said, what happened? He said, I got that woman in my car. And the longer she was in my car, the more that I realized that I didn't want her to be in my car anymore. So he said, I just took her around the block and brought her right back here. And then here she comes right behind him, speed walking up. I was like, oh God. She comes right up to him. She's calling him baby, hanging on him and stuff, kissing him. And I was like, Sean, I think she's cut off. Like, I was gonna cut her off, but now that y'all are back, but I said, I'll give you another drink. And he goes, yeah, I'll take another drink. And then he leaves. She stays for an extra hour and a half trying to get any guy. She didn't care what guy it was, trying to get any guy to go home with her. Why are all these empty? Dang it. So then she starts taking pictures with every guy there and sending them to her ex-boyfriend. And I'm like, girl, it's time to move on. Like, why are we doing this? A little while later, she asked me to pay her tab. She was like, I need a tab out. And I was like, girl, you already closed out. She said, no, I haven't closed out. And I'm like, yes, you have. Your card, I saw you put it back in your wallet. She goes, well, who paid my tab? I said, Sean did. She goes, who the fuck is Sean? I was like, oh, the guy that you were outside making out with? She said, I didn't make out with him. And I was like, girl, I saw you. She was like, I might have just like gave him a, that's it. So he paid my tab? I can't believe that. I was like, girl, you made him pay your tab. What are you talking about? So once we closed, she said, where should I go? And I was like, honestly, girl, you probably should go home. But she wouldn't take that as an answer. So I told her to go to this place called the Blind Pig. I was like, there'll be plenty of guys there for you. Y'all, she asked me like 5 times what it was called. I was eventually like, girl, the blind, like can't see, pig, like, and she goes, oh, can I type it in my Uber? And I was like, please do that. Yes, please do that. And then she asked me again. I was like, let me see your phone. I'll just type it in for you. Here you go. Your Uber will be here in 7 minutes, it says. Have a good time. Like,